Hello guys, welcome to the next Banter Blitz against me, International Master Andrey Ostrovskiy. Unfortunately, I have severe technical problems this time, so I've got no access to the chat on Chess24. But please do leave your messages on Twitch or YouTube so that I can see them. As usual, it will be very helpful if you can tell me if you can see and hear me well. So on my end, everything is not so bad so far. And I'm just going to start with the first challenger. Just as usual, I will try to find somebody I've never played before. So let me see if we have anyone. Yes, we do. So I'll accept this challenge. And I'm playing with white pieces. So let's go e4. And d6. So d6 may lead to different openings. For example, after knight f6 and knight c3, black may play e5, which means one of the lines of Philidor. So I usually respond with the f3 to be a bit more flexible, because if black plays c5, I can play d5, and if black plays g6, which leads to Pertz, then I can just continue with the natural plan of castling long and attack on the king's side. Let's go queen d2. If black plays early b5, obviously I can undermine that pawn. That is what I usually do in this situation. Of course, it stops my attack on the king side, because I'll have to do some stuff on the queen side instead. But I think in the long run, I can get some advantages because of it. So let's see how that works. Normally, black responds with the b4. Also, compared to normal streams, this time I'll have not so much time. And it's gonna be around 1 hour, I think. Just this time. And well, taking that into account, I will probably spend a bit less time analyzing after the game, and I will just play a bit more challengers. I hope you'll understand that. Just have some stuff to do, unfortunately. Bishop goes to a6, offering the exchange of bishops. Can I just take on b4? I'm just curious. So let's take on b4, bishop f1, king takes, a b4, queen b4. Yeah, my king is not so good, but is it really that bad? If I take on a6 first, then knight takes a6, protecting b4. So let's imagine, takes b4. Now, I think black will have sort of typical counterplay, just like in Volga Gambit. So pawn down, but my king will be not so good. All right, so instead I will just capture. Let it be. Knight on a6 is not necessarily that great after all. So let's keep on developing pieces. I have pretty cool center here. So pawn c3 protects d4, pawn f3 protects e4. These pawns are also protected. And having such a center means having a bit more space. So maybe we don't have a serious advantage here, but position just looks nice. This knight from d1 can go to f2 later, maybe to d3, controlling e5 and c5 squares. So it's gonna be good. c5, undermining everything here. Let's just ignore for now. Let's complete the development, and then we'll see. So now it's possible potentially just to take on c3, then to take on d4, and if I recapture with the pawn b4, square becomes accessible for that knight a6. If I recapture with a piece on d4 instead of taking with the pawn, obviously there is c5 square which that knight can occupy. Yeah. It's gonna be more or less balanced position, I suppose. So d5 maybe. Also interesting option. Like, you know, to grab a bit more space, prevent this b takes, c takes, knight b4. So that knight will be quite bad for a long time. The only problem with the d5 is that it makes dark squared bishop a bit more active. On the other hand, I don't know. If black really has some chances to exploit that. Moreover, at some point, we may consider some like bishop h6. Light squares are very important in this position. Since we no longer have light squared bishops on the board, it's important who wins the fight for light squares. And e6, is it really good? Because I can take on e6 and this weakens light squares, in fact. Okay, I'm not sure if this gives me anything specific. Immediately, at least. There is nothing. But knight f4 looks pretty natural now. Attacking e6. Maybe intending some like queen d3, queen c4 a bit later. We'll see how black reacts to this move first. Another idea may be just to put the knight on f2, then rook on d1 and attack d6, which also became a weakness after this e7, e6 move. So, what black is going to do here? Interesting. I don't think black will play e5. It's just a bad move. Not only because I play knight e6 and win the exchange, but because it weakens d5 a lot. So queen e7, yeah, pretty good reaction, I guess. And I don't see anything wrong with this knight f2. It's time to activate rooks. g5. Well, this is going to be double-edged because, all right, this kicks away my knight, but it weakens kingside. And I think this g5 may become a target very soon. So it's henning, actually. So black has to play something like that, yeah. Additionally weakening some light squares. Now undermining it with the h4 looks interesting option. Another one is just to wait a bit, maybe to play knight g3, fighting for h5 square, potentially playing something like e5. Yeah, I like this second option. Let's go there. Also, in case black starts something like d5 in the center, my queen can go away to e2. e2 is no longer occupied by the knight, so. Alright, so d5 nevertheless. If I play e5 now, knight goes to d7, and e5 will be henning twice, basically. It will be hard for me to protect it. I can consider something like f4 right now. This looks pretty cool. Can I play that? Well, let's try it, because my knights actually protect e4. And position becomes open. And it starts feeling like that knight on a6 is definitely misplaced. e5 loses this pawn. Knight takes e4. Alright, let's just... Well, queen d5 was much better, I guess. But this is also not so bad. We are already a pawn up. And position of black's king is just awful. Alright, that was an interesting game to start with. I'm not sure when black played the wrong move, the first one. But I would have played something like this. It just takes everything here. And then you have b4 square for your knight. You may occupy it just right now. Why not? I guess this position should be pretty balanced. You then castle, bring your heavy pieces to the queen side, and try to use the good position of the knight, already attacking c2, maybe trying to occupy that square with your rook, and so forth. Okay, let's go on. The next challenge, somebody never played before. Let's have a look if we have somebody. Yes, there is another one, but 3 minute. Okay, let's try 3-minute game. So white pieces again. Sicilian this time. And dragon. So Marozzi is good against this. But I usually play same stuff against accelerated dragon and classic dragon. So I'm just developing my pieces like this. Bishop e2, castling. Then rook e1, bishop f1, knight to d5. That's my plan. Not necessarily that ambitious, but should be pretty annoying for a dragon player, because a dragon player usually expects castling alone from white with sort of drama on both flanks. And here it comes purely positional setup. Psychologically, it's quite good. I mean, but it depends, obviously, because not everyone who plays dragon as black is necessarily a tactical player. Obviously, the one who plays dragon should be good in tactics, but I mean, it may be not the only thing that a dragon player can do. It depends. I guess to d5. I mean, I've seen many positional players, playing dragon from time to time. Okay, so black played this h6, g5. Again, it looks active, but at the same time, it may be not so good in the long run, because it weakens position of the king and creates an additional target for me for future f4 or maybe h4. It also weakens h5 square. By the way, I can consider some like taking on f6, bishop f6, and queen h5 move, attacking h6 already, but then b2 drops. So probably it's better for me just to protect it for now. But that idea with occupying h5 is not ruled out. We're going to do this a bit later, I suppose. So what about now? Knight f6, bishop f6, queen to h5. Something like king g7, I guess. Then f4. Is it good? Not sure, but let's try. We don't have so much time. Because we play 3-minute game, we should make our decisions faster, like this. So if check, then even king to h1 is safe. And if this, then h6 is under attack already. Okay, now e5 looks pretty natural. Doesn't give me anything, so e5, knight takes e5. And then what? Rook takes e5. No, it's not good. Immediately, I mean, so knight to d4 is just e5. What should we do here? Rook lift is needed, but there is a problem. Okay, I will try something not very good looking, giving up a bishop for a knight, but what is this? I have just captured the knight. What's going on? It can't be pre-move, I guess. It's just a serious blunder. Or maybe I'm overestimating my position, I don't know. But it already looks much better than before. and resigned. Also premature. I don't understand what's going on. So it just takes on f4. I don't have a checkmate immediately. So I can play queen g6, but then king goes to h8. The same as after bishop g6. So it was too early to resign. Position is still unclear, although white should be like, you know, better. I don't know what happened. So the bishop takes c4, obviously, something like b c4, rook c4. So I will just tell you what was my idea. I wanted to play something like knight d2, knight f3, knight g5 maybe. But now I see that if I play knight d2 here, there is just rook to c5. Typical move for a dragon, by the way, occupying the 5th rank with the rook. In this case, simply attacking the queen. And I don't have a good square. So maybe the whole idea was bad. Maybe black can even force me to go away with the knight from b3, taking with the pawn. And then if I go away with the knight, then rook c5. Yeah, it looks like bishop c4 was a bad decision in general. What to play here? I'm not sure, because e5 doesn't work immediately. At least I don't see how to make it work. If I play bishop d3 here, then knight e5 blockading the e4. Yeah, probably that was a bit premature to play f4 in general, so it feels like black is fine here. All right, who's lucky in this game? Let's have a look at somebody else I've never played before. Do we have somebody? Yeah, we do. So accept the challenge from Capora Lorti. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Anyways, so this time with black pieces. Let's go. And we play now 5-minute game. Okay. One of the possibilities, if you don't really want to play main lines of Queen's Indian defense, you may play this close Catalan, because it almost inevitably transposes into that. Okay. Takes immediately. All right, this simplifies the things, but well, it's a possibility. Obviously, white sometimes captures on d5 a bit later, and then tries to fight for central squares. I don't know. Here, what to do? So I don't want to play h6 right now, because obviously white wants to take on f6 and then to play e3, something like this, and my bishop will be a bit stupid. So let's just develop the knight. I think white may take on f6 without my h6 move, which means we'll save a tempo. Just bishop b7. I know that, you know, a6 looks a bit better, a bit more active than b7. But the thing is, white is normally trying to play e4. And my bishop on b7 will be very helpful to fight that idea. That's the point. a3. Intending to play b4, I guess. Not sure. Most likely, yeah. Let's just play rook c8. Because b4 is double-edged. On one hand, it grabs some space. On the other hand, it weakens c4 kind of forever. So, and e4. Definitely didn't expect that, so let's just take the pawn. Alright, take c7. Should I take with the knight here? Because after knight e4, d4, it will be good for me to bring that knight to d5. Yeah, let's try it. Why not? So extra pawn, I don't see a compensation, to be honest. Most likely it was a blunder. After knight e5, I guess it's good for me to take on c3. Damaging white's pawn structure, because now there will be the pawn on c3, which means c3 will be weak, and a3 as well. So additional weaknesses for me to attack, like queen c7, let's say. Just attacking it directly. And if something like c4, then I will just take. Bishop b7, queen b7, knight c4, and isolated pawn on d4 shows up. What to do now? Well, we have extra pawn. I think a good strategy should be just to simplify the things a bit. Let's start with the knight. Let's see if white wants to exchange it. White doesn't. Well, at least white wants to improve his position a bit, which is pretty natural. So let's bring another piece to attack c3. Now the rook went away from the f file. I think it's a good moment for me to take on e5. Not sure if it is the optimal decision, but looks not so bad. Now I guess bishop a6 should be played because there is really nothing to do on b7 anymore. e4 was kind of played many moves ago. There is no e4 option for white. So let's slightly improve the bishop. Here it doesn't do a lot, but it controls c4, it controls f1 square, preventing rook to f1. And if white wants to ever improve his bishop, we'll just exchange it. That's the plan. Now let's attack that one on a3, another white's weakness. We should alternate threats against these pawns. If I'm not terribly mistaken, it's already quite hard to save the material because of this move. I hope it's fine. Attacking a4 and exerting some pressure on the rook. Alright, bishop f1. So now if we take the bishop, rook captures on f1 and f7 is heading. So maybe it's better to take on a4 first, and after bishop takes a6, queen a6, rook f1, we are in time just to bring the queen to b7 and protect our only vulnerable pawn on f7. Yeah, let's just take the pawn this way. Okay, so 2 pawns up now. Protecting f7 this way. It's a technically winning position, but we still have to be careful because white has some ideas on the king side, like queen g5, then rook lift, and so on. But with the right defense, it should be nothing, honestly. And after passive queen to c1, I think we have no problems. Queen to a3 now. Okay. What should be our plan? So, let's try different things. I mean, we're not in a rush here. We protect a7. If rook goes to a1, let's say we have this flexible queen to c8. We have the rook in front of the queen. I guess it's a bit more efficient than the queen in front of the rook in the sense of attack. We control everything here, so it'll be not so easy probably. Okay, so it just gives us the pawn. Then queen takes a7, but rook to c2, and we activate our heavy pieces. On the other hand, his pieces are also activated. I don't know. Should we do that, or should we start with something else? I don't know. Let's try that. I mean, why not? So there is a comment. Ostrovskiy is the real last name. No, it's not. Ostrovskiy is the real last name. Ostrovskiy is like Master Ostrovskiy. Okay. Yeah, let's bring the rook here. The only problem here is that the king goes to h3, and how to checkmate that guy there? I don't know. Like queen d8, queen g5. Are we in time? Queen d8, rook takes b6. Queen jumps to g5. check on b8. King goes to h7, queen takes f7. There may be no checkmate. Oh lord, why did I do that? Oh, there is another option. Look at this. Another nice regrouping. So rook to f2, protecting f7. And then bring the queen to c2, attacking h2 simultaneously, threatening with queen to f5. Yeah, this is going to be very good. Yeah, should be just over. We're still a pawn up, by the way. But it's no longer about the extra material. It's just about, you know, much better pieces placement and just checkmate. Maybe I missed a faster checkmate, but I think checkmate into is also not so bad. So everything is clear. White just played e4, where after I had extra pawn for nothing. Instead, I would suggest something like bishop takes, and then e3 maybe. Another option is this double-edged b4. Okay, so you weaken c4, but, well, I'm not sure if I have a good option. I mean, in the sense of bringing the knight there. But I always have this maneuvers, so probably something like bishop takes f6 followed by e3 should be preferred. And then bringing your knight to d3, it's usually a good position. It should be more or less balanced, but I think black has no problems here. All right. Let's continue. Let's go. So 3 challenges from guys I've never played before. Now 1 by 1. And here is shelling forward. Oh my god. This guy usually beats me. I mean, I have to be very careful. So shelling is very strong indeed. Knight to c3. Interesting. Interesting start. e3 just going away from the series completely. That's something. What if I just take here and play d5? Is it really that bad for black? All right, so now the knight is going to occupy f4. I think it's a good moment to play bishop to g6, because that was basically the idea behind the maneuver, to exchange that light squared bishop eventually. Bishop to f4. Should I castle now? Yeah, why not? Good question. No, let's take this way, towards the center. I guess we have more or less equalized here already. Let's see if we can squeeze something more from this position. But we shouldn't overestimate it, obviously. Bishop to g5. Here's a threat of taking on d5. It's clear. So let's play c6. Anyway, I wanted to make this move a bit earlier. Now we may attack b2 with queen b6, because if bishop takes, then pawn takes. And I think we're fine. We can also put our queen on c7 in this situation, attacking h2. I think I'll take this option. So normally bishop f6 is terrible for black, but our pawn is already on g6, so I guess it's fine. Okay, f4 is a brave decision, because now there may be a problem with e4 square. So the question, is that German, Ostrovskiy? No, it's not. If you're asking about the surname, it's definitely not German. It's more like Polish or Ukrainian. Originally, I'm from Ukraine. And again, it's not Mostrovsky, it's Ostrovskiy. Queen to h3. Now I start getting what white is trying to do. It's like queen to h4, now rook f3, rook h3, and checkmate. Simple as that. So I guess we need some prophylaxis here. Let's start with this move. The point, if queen h4, then f6 traps the bishop. If bishop goes away now, well, it gives us some time. Okay. Now what? I guess we can play this move. Just occupying the open file and preparing another knight through f6 to e4. This can be a plan. Bishop there. Okay. Let's just continue with the plan. I don't see why not. Here I wanted to play this move. So white got rid of a bad bishop, of course. But I think we still control a bit more space. It's just a feeling, of course. Yeah, let's just go there. Okay. Let's fight for some space now. For our pieces. I believe that position is still balanced, but who knows. All right, here I wanted to take this way and just bring my queen to b4, attacking b2, d4, and while targeting the rook on a1. Queen to c3 looks safe. Should I take on c3 or play something else? Like, what if knight d5 takes? It's hard to evaluate it. g4 is hanging as well. But in general, it should be all right, yeah? Okay, maybe I'm making mistakes, but let's see how it works. Yeah, I misplayed it for some reason. I don't know why. White is just having very good position now. Yeah, very strong. Very strong. What to do now? My goodness. Let's try to destruct the rook. Somehow. It's just terrible. It's simply lost now. Oh my goodness. It was so good, actually. It was so good at some point, but then I started playing like a moron. I think it was good up to, yeah, queen b4. This looks more or less fine. Again, it's questionable, the whole idea of bringing the knight to e4. I just wanted to put my queen on b4 at some point. I'm just curious, why didn't I play, say, queen to b6 move? Creating this threat of rook takes e5. Now, obviously, white doesn't have to blunder it or something, but I have some follow-ups, like rook to d8 attacking this d4, some sort of knight e5 tricks. So, I mean, it's nothing serious, but still a normal position. Yeah, I think here I started playing this terrible c5, and all these moves were not correct. What was correct? Good question. So basically, I need a centralization here, so I need to bring my king to the center as soon as possible. But white already has very annoying play on the b file, so like rook to b1, and I cannot really protect the pawn in the normal way except for rook e7. On the other hand, maybe that is exactly what I had to play. So something like this, rook to b1, rook to e7, then something like rook to c7, let's say king f2, rook to c7, then king to e7, but it doesn't feel like I'm in time here. So king already attacks my pawns that became extremely vulnerable. I don't know. So there is a good question, why queen e7 and now rook takes e7? I'm not sure. I thought that after taking on e7, I will create some threats based on queen e3 check. That's why I captured with the queen, because the idea was to bring the queen to b4 at the right moment. Maybe the right moment was here, like to take, and then to play queen to b4. Yeah, I give up the e file for now, but I attack two pawns, right? So white cannot afford losing d4, I suppose. So something like knight to b3 will be very good for me, because the knight intended to go to d3 and then to e5. On b3 it's much more passive. Again, nothing specific, but a slightly better direction, I guess, compared to what I did. Anyways, thank you for the game. That was a nice one. Good punishment for the wrong strategy, so let's continue. And white pieces now. So I think I'll have time for 2 more games, including this one. Let's see. Bishop to b5, Ruy Lopez now. And classic defense, bishop to c5. If I'm not mistaken, this is something playable for white. Not necessarily good, but not bad either, I suppose. Let's just castle. So what to do now? Something like knight b3, knight c5 should be nice. Black is preparing f6 on the other hand. So let's just get rid of the pin so that our knight can move. This may help in defending e5, let's say, or maybe occupying e5 a bit later. And bishop takes f3, something that I didn't expect to see, because now we have a bishop. Maybe it's not so important here. I don't know. We'll see. But I love bishops. That's the point. What is black's plan? I believe it should be still something connected with f6 at the right moment. Let's just prepare ourselves for that. Alright, this is also nice regrouping. This is also nice. But d4 is protected, so should be fine. What if we just attack that knight? Okay, now... yeah, let's occupy this square. Go back to d3, attack in h7. So I'm trying to provoke a weakness. And what's important, after c6, knight can no longer go back to c6. So it improves our coordination and basically makes black's position less pleasant to play. f6, we can have so many light squares. Well, this is interesting. Maybe it's still playable. But I would be scared to do something like this. What about knight h4? Knight takes d4. Something like queen to d3. We should win some material here, I have a feeling. Alright? Now let's try that. It's too tempting to ignore. That square, I mean g6 and f5 as well. Queen to f7. Maybe that's why it was not a good idea. I mean, so simple defense. But now knight goes to f5 and then to d6. But then f takes e5, rook takes e5. Yeah. Not that clear, but looks nice. Anyway. So f takes e5, just rook takes e5. Yeah, we no longer have this nice pawn on e5, but rook on e5 is also not so bad. I've got a feeling g6 is not possible because if knight takes h6, that's important. And we can continue with just, you know, doubling or tripling our heavy pieces along the e file. All right? I mean, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Oh, knight to e7 check was much better. Missed that, actually. But I think we will have possibility to do it again. Because knight e4 didn't attack anything. Knight f5 is still protected by the rook. So when the knight goes away, then knight e7 check, king h8, knight g6 takes f8. Well, some material. Alright. Otherwise, I guess I just take the knight, so. Oh, by the way, instead of f3, rook 1 takes e4 was also possible. D takes e4, bishop c4. I'm missing so many tactical resources in this game. That's fantastic. I mean, I should be punished for it, but position is so good that most likely I'll be alright after all these mistakes. So now if queen takes rook e8 wins. If king takes f8, then rook f5. Looks like we win not the exchange, but the whole rook here, right? So I guess I'm not mistaken. Yeah, rook f5. Wins the queen. Okay. Yeah. So what was wrong? Hard to say. Everything looked just good, but I would have not captured that knight on f3, to be honest. So in this position, I would have played something like f6 as black, or maybe something like queen d7, preparing knight d8, knight e6 maneuver, but I would definitely save the bishop on the board. Why would we exchange it for the knight? Exchange it for the bishop, yeah, it's another story, but for the knight, I don't know why. All right, let's go on. One more game, So, Cthulhu. Oh my god, I'm scared. But let's play anyway. And fortunately, white pieces. So, it's gonna increase our chances here, I believe. And Relopus again. One more. Berlin, anti-Berlin. So now we have position, which is something like an exchanged variation of Relopus. The difference is that we still have queens on the board, and in exchanged Relopus, you usually try to exchange queens as soon as possible. But keeping queens on the board also has some advantages. Positions are not so boring. And this drawback, I mean, doubled pawns is for a long time, so. Let's take this way. Opening the F file for the rook. And then just castle short. And then trying to bring the knight to F5. Double rooks along the F file and exert some pressure. Alright, just castling. Where are black castles? I'm curious. Oh, another side. Okay. Our position is anyway quite solid here. I don't think black will have some chances to attack on the king side, while we will have some chances on the queen side because there is c6, right? It's accessible after something like b4, rook b1, a4, b5, and here we go. There may be also an idea of playing just b4 and then knight to b3. Okay, let's forget about this for now because c2 is heading. Should we protect it or just play b4? No, I don't think we should play b4 because it weakens c3 square, even if c2 is not capturable, but I do believe it's capturable. c3 will be a critical square, so what if we just play this? I know it slows down our attack, but I just want to get rid of that queen for now. And then we will see, because if queen steps back to b6, let's say, it may be very vulnerable there a bit later. All right. There are different things I can play here, but for some reason I'm tempted by this queen e1 idea, because from here my queen can go both sides, first of all. And it controls some additional squares on the queen side, limiting the queen. There's a question, only versus premium users? Yes, this is the condition. Yeah, and another idea was just to save the knight on the board. I got rid of the pin, right? And now I can do this. Knight to d2, followed by probably knight to c4. But now I can see that I can actually prevent it easily by playing bishop to e6 now. Yeah, nothing specific, so this is just not very good idea. Okay, knight g4 is coming. I think I have to prevent that with the h3. And now c5. Okay, c4 is probably even a threat. I can take with the knight. Not so clear. So a4, a5 now, or queen g3. Queen g3 looks possible. So let's try to do something here. Just attacking at least something in black's camp. Well, I believe black is just alright here, maybe even more than alright. I have just noticed one interesting possibility, but it doesn't quite work, in fact. Alright, here I can just take with the knight. I can take with the pawn as well. But I want to exchange opponent's bishop at the same time. Maybe it's a wrong idea. I don't know. But knight e4 is not possible. That's important because of this simple trick. Queen g4 check, and then takes the knight. Alright. I was lucky in this game. I mean, this queen e1, knight e2, knight c4 was too slow. I should have played h3, in fact, getting rid of opponent's bishop, because in that case e5 was hanging. Bishop takes f3 was forced, more or less. And, yeah. But my opponent gave me this great chance. As I said, just pure luck. Okay, most likely if my opponent resigns right now, I'll have a time for one more game. But everything depends, of course. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. One more game. Friedel. Accept. With pleasure. And black pieces. Okay. Let's prepare ourselves for a great fight. Friedel is very strong. But I'm not sure if Friedel is still online. Because as I said before, I had serious problems. I still have serious technical problems. I'm not actually tracking the chat on Chess24. Unfortunately, guys, sorry for that. That was just one time problem. But no, my opponent is still online. The question, Josh Friedel? No. Another Friedel. I should have played d5 here. All right, never mind. Let's just play another line. So. Pretty typical so far. And f4 prior to knight f3. Yeah, I've seen this several times, but I'm still not sure it's a good idea to do something like that. How to play against this? So queen to c7 looks natural. Then knight goes to f3. We can take on d4, cd4, knight b4, bishop goes to b1. Then what? Nothing. What else? Queen to b6 now. Maybe played. Yeah, I guess it's interesting. So let's try queen b6. Attacking b2. I hope. So Friedel says, my internet is very bad today. I'm sorry to hear that. Mine is also not perfect. So. And now, what I wanted to try here. cd4, cd4 is nothing, I guess. There should be something. Maybe knight e7, knight f5 can be considered here. Yeah, maybe an option. Let's try that. But my bishop is somewhat misplaced. Okay, there is an idea of playing bishop d7, bishop b5, so let's see. Maybe we're going to implement that. By the way, after knight e7, bishop h4 was pretty cool. I think we should just bring the knight there, then try this move with the idea of bishop b5. I'm just trying to justify my setup. It's not necessarily that good. Yeah, let's go there. c4 was very cool. Right now, I think our position is getting pretty good. Well, at least it's typical thing here. So we have exchanged correct pieces. That's what I mean. So there are some weaknesses like e4 and c4. We're going to bring our knight to d6 very soon to occupy e4. There is still this bishop on the board, which is bad for white. So let's try to do something. All right. Is it good? I hope it is. So just 96. That goes to e5. Which takes on d2, queen d2, knight f6 to e4. Right? Yeah. And then at some point f6. Of course, not immediately because knight d7 is a threat. It's a good question how to fight it. Just to go back with the queen to d8. I guess it's all right because my queen is not doing a lot there. So now f6, just get rid of the knight. Okay. And now probably just going back with the queen to b6, actually preventing bishop to b4. Yeah. And starting the fight for the c file. So we have good pieces now. White doesn't have attack or anything like that on the king side, which is normally the main and, well, sometimes the only plan for white in this opening line, and I think we're just doing well. Everything is at least under control. Okay. I'm going to just exchange rooks here to see how this works. Because I've played a lot of games having heavy pieces on the board within this pawn structure. I'm just curious what is going to happen if we get rid of heavy pieces. How this affects the position. Bishop to c3, well. Okay, let's bring the knight to c4. Attacking e3. I didn't expect bishop c3. I expected something like b3, to be honest. Covering that square at least. Because now it looks too much. b2 is also under pressure. So if white protects e3 now, we may take the bishop, forcing b takes c3. Or maybe queen a6 is even stronger. So what happens if we play queen a6 attacking a2? I mean, b pawn can't move now because we just take on c3 with the tempo. And if a pawn moves, then we take the bishop and take the a pawn. Feels like a win-some material here. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So we just take the bishop, then take a3. Pawn up. c3 is also weak. e3 is still weak. So it should be what? Very nice position, right? Let's bring the queen to active square c1. What are the threats? f5 is potentially, but I'm not sure it's necessarily that dangerous. Maybe just a5, a4, a3, a2, a1, something like this. I don't know. What should be played here? Let's see. f5 may be a threat. Let's just prevent it. Oh, 25 seconds. My God. What am I doing? So stupid. I'm going to lose this on time, I guess. How one can be so stupid, huh? To forget about the time completely. We're playing without increment, I guess. Yeah, it will be so nasty to lose such a position. It was so great. It was absolutely winning. Now it's gonna be lost, I suppose. Yeah, now it's lost because I cannot prevent the checkmate here. Oh my God, yeah, I deserved, you know, beating in this last game because I forgot about the time. And I gave my opponent exactly what I wanted to avoid a counterplay. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, nice fight. So, as I said at the very beginning, well, I intended to make only 1 hour this time. Sorry for that. Have some stuff to do. And also sorry for some technical problems. So I didn't track the chat on Chess24. Next week is going to be better, I believe. So see you next week and wish you all guys a nice weekend. Bye-bye.